Ooh, look at this one. Super exciting. This one has 3 lines. Now, piecewise functions don't have to just be made up of lines, but that's all I'm going to give you for this class. You can have anything in there and have a piecewise function. All right? Cool. Okay, let's do this. Awesome. How many cheater lines do we get to put on this problem? So let me read it to you in case you can't read my terrible handwriting. F of x is equal to, the first piece is negative 2x if x is less than negative 3. The middle piece is a 3x minus 1 if negative 3 is less than or equal to x, which is in turn less than or equal to 2. And then the last piece of negative 4x if x is greater than 2. Awesome. So where are my cheater lines? Yep, I have one at negative 3. Let me try this cheater line again. And we also have one at 2. We are a little off, but we get the point. It's just a cheater line, not part of my graph, so we're cool. Okay, let's fill in our blanks. What is to the left of the cheater line x equal of where x is negative 3? Negative 2x. So y equals a negative 2x. Now what's the y-intercept of the point y is equal to, or pardon me, of the line y equals negative 2x? The origin. Good. So it's the same thing as y is equal to negative 2x plus 0. Awesome. What about that middle? What do we get? Yep. Y is equal to a 3x minus 1. And what about to the far right? Yeah, y is equal to a negative 4x. Awesome. Okay, let's do this right now. Now remember, we want to look at each piece, and I want to see where these pieces start. So for this first one, I'm going to find out when f of negative 3 is in my graph. So I have f of negative 3 is equal to 6. So I actually have the point negative 3, 6. Now, is this going to be an open dot or a closed dot? Good, it's an open dot. And how do you know it's an open dot? Yep, because it's just a less than symbol, not an or equal to. So because it's just less than, you know that this is going to be a nice big open dot. Cool. Also, because this is a line, we now have the point of negative 3, 6. What is the slope of that line? Oops, my m's not working. Yep, my slope is also negative 2 over 1. Okay, now I'm going to see if I can zoom into this so we can graph our point of negative 3, 6 and negative 2, 1 when I zoom into my graph. Let's see if this works for us. Hey, there it is. Okay, so I now have the point of negative 3, 6, and you know with that point you want to, I'm going to scoot it down I think here a little bit. Oh, there we are. Okay, so with the point of negative 3, 6, and I have a slope of negative 2, what does that look like? So the point of negative 3, 6, so I have that point right there. Now, if I were to do a slope of negative 2 over 1, if we make that graph of going down 2 and over 1, what just happened? Yeah, my y equals negative 2x is over here on the left side of my cheater line. So in order to actually graph this point, I'm going to go up 2 and back 1 to get the next point on my line. Up 2 and back 1. So my graph, that piece of my graph, is going off to the left. Good. Now let's focus on that middle part. Let me zoom back in. All right, so now let's take a look at this middle part. So I know that I'm going to find, I want to know where f of negative 3, because that's where I want to start here. It doesn't matter which one you go with, the negative 3 or the 2. You just want to look at your cheater line and just know that it's going to start at a point and end at a point because it's in the middle. It's confined between 2 lines. It's confined between 2 x values. So I'm just going to go with the first one here of negative 3. So 3 times negative 3 minus 1 is negative 9 minus 1. So f of negative 3 is actually a negative 10. 10. And my slope of this line is a 3 over 1. So I have the point here of negative 3, 10. That's a negative. And a slope of 3 over 1. Is this going to be open or closed dot? Closed. Now what's going to happen whenever I end up over here at 2? Is it going to be open or closed? Closed again. Good. And tell me why. Yes, exactly. Because they're both or equal to, and that's what makes them a closed dot. Okay, good job. Okay, I zoomed in here so that we can see what our point is. So I'm starting at the point of negative 3, 10. Oh, sorry, that's a negative 10. I forgot my negative sign. Negative 3, negative 10. And a slope of 3 over 1. So you guys are probably screaming at the deal, negative 10, negative 10. You're right and I'm wrong. Good job. And so up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. Ooh, look what happens there. 3. Ooh, and notice I also put a closed dot up here at the 5 and a closed dot down here at the negative 10 because they're both or equal to. Then we just connect the dots, la 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 la. Oopsie daisy. And this middle piece starts and stops because if you notice, over here on my equation, I'm going to suck this in a little bit here. Over here on my equation, it is negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 3 less than or equal to 2. Good, okay. Awesome. 2 pieces down and 1 piece to go. So we have y is equal to negative 4x if x is greater than 2. So again, where do I want to look at my graph? I want to look at it at 2 because that's where it starts on my cheater line. So I want to see what's happening at 2 so I know where to start my graph. So I have f of 2 is now equal to a negative 8. So I have the point of 2, negative 8. I have a slope here of a negative 4 over 1. And is this going to be an open or a closed dot? Good, open dot. And how do you know that? Because it's just greater than, it's not or equal to for those x values. So it says if x is right here. So if x is greater than 2, that's what we're looking at. That's what makes it an open circle. Okay, let's graph this thing. So I'm starting at the point 2, negative 8. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit again so that we can make our graph a little bit more accurate. Oopsie daisy. There we are. So I'm going to start at the point 2, negative 8, and I have a slope of negative 4. So I have the point right here of 2, negative 8. So I zoomed in here a little bit more because with a slope of negative 4, look what happens. I have to go down 4, which is going to be 2 more tick marks on my graph. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1 in order to get to my next point. So this one's kind of off my graph just a little bit there in order to get that third piece. Okay, now let's suck this back in here so we can see our full graph. Oh, that looks so cool. Yeah, awesome. Now remember, your cheater lines are just that. So I'm going to erase them. Well, for some reason, my program's not letting me erase those cheater lines. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. So, anyway, we'll go with that. So, just when you're looking at your graph is actually just the blue, the green, and the purple. Those red dashed lines are not actually part of your graph, but for some reason, my program's not letting me erase them. So, it doesn't matter if you have 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. If you're looking at these for a piecewise function, just graph what you have. Good job! Enjoy this section.